inspection at 6.
All right, we're live. Hello, everybody. My name is George Guerra. I'm here with our 2019 top agent, Cristina Broche. How are you today, Cristina?
Hello. Happy Monday. Doing well, and yourself?
Doing phenomenal. Thank you for taking the time to share what makes you successful. Before we get started, can you talk to me a little bit about what got you into the industry?
I have to say that, when I was growing up, I want to say growing up because it was in my early 20s, I started getting a feel for real estate investment through the eyes of my brother. My brother was a realtor at the very early age of 18. He taught me some ropes, what to do, what not to do. And I bought my first property when I was 24. This was an investment property that I bought for myself, rented it out, flipped it, made some good money. Then I bought another one. I bought another one. And so that gave me a feel and just a little taste of what it was like to be a homeowner and how to be a landlord and all that management, that property management that I did for many years, until I started to think about, well, maybe I should get my real estate license and service people and help people do the same thing, or help people buy homes and sell their homes. Because if I have this passion now, I can definitely, share my passion with others. So that is how I started. And it's been 5 years of complete bliss. I love it.
So listen, complete bliss. But a couple months ago, we ran into COVID. Mm-hmm. So that leads me in to my next question. What are you doing to stay relevant during these unprecedented times with your clients?
I have to say it was a little bump on the road, but it was actually, I used it to my advantage because we were quarantined for 2 months. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna stay up, keep up with the times, because this is a great time to get more education under my belt, reach out to all my past clients. I'm talking about from 5 years ago when I started doing this. And reach out to them, show that I care. Do you need anything during these times? And staying educated. We did a lot of Zooming with our lenders, what to do during the time that we have now to stay abreast with all the precautionary measures that we need to take in order to do, the showings. And you know what, during the quarantine, I actually got 2 properties under contract, and it was done virtually. Thankfully, through all the training that we had, our RESF and through our lenders, so I think it was just a great time to just kind of use the time wisely, do a little bit of prospecting, calling clients, past clients, letting them know you're still available. This is still an essential business. People need to move, people need to buy, people need to sell. So it was just a little bit of time to think, food for thought, and I used it to my advantage. And it's actually worked out great, because right now at least I am so slammed, and I'm not complaining. I'm actually very happy. All my buyers are still there, and we're actively, I actually have 5 buyers right now looking. I have 5 properties under contract. So it's great. It's picked up again. And, like I said, we're taking the precautionary measures that we need to take, but it was a great time to kind of get more education under my belt.
Well, one thing that I have seen is that during these difficult times, more than ever, people tend to go to a professional, more than ever. So I'm not surprised that you're busier than ever. One question that I get all the time is about prospecting. What is your most successful prospecting technique?
Well, I'm always prospecting. So just, I am a very social person. So anytime I have a first encounter with anyone, I let them know what I do for a living. And that is right now my most valuable tool to obtain business. I think that, that face-to-face, one-on-one interaction with humans is what people really care about. I mean, sometimes, the phone is great. You can text, you can send an email. But how many times do we delete emails? How many times do we not even open that email? I think that just, talking to everyone you're in contact with is my most valuable technique for prospecting. And I'm gonna give you an anecdote on that, because
tell me.
It's funny, because I was not too long ago, I went to the doctor. I had to go with my mask and all the things that we're doing now. But the person that was taking my payment for the co-pay asked me, she saw my RESF t-shirt with our logo, and she asked me, you know, are you a realtor? And I said, yes, I do this for a living. So, and she asked me about rates, and, you know, she was pre-approved with a lender, but she really didn't have a realtor per se. She was looking at a property that was listed, and she was going to contact that realtor, the listing agent. And I said to her, oh, you're not happy with your pre-qualified rate, so let's get you a better one. And that's exactly what happened. She contacted me. I gave her 2 different loan officers that I work with. They gave her like a whole % less. We closed on that property. So when I tell you that, you know, talking to people, this is a complete stranger. I had no idea who she was. She was just taking a credit card payment for the office, you know, the office visit that I was finishing up. And you know what? We closed on her home, and this was her first time buying a property. So it's important to always talk to people. Socializing, that, you know, human touch is crucial in this business.
Marketing. Talk to me about marketing. What is your favorite way to market, to get the word out about what you do?
I have to say that I wasn't a big social media person, but, you know, with this business, what we gotta be, right? So everyone's on social media, and you know, I use our branding to really show our professionalism and what we do. It's free. Social media is free, so it's a free marketing tool platform. I market myself from the beginning of a transaction all the way to the end. And I like to show everyone how the process goes. You know, I show a picture of the property when we go under contract. I show a picture when we're doing the inspection. And then I show a picture when we're closing and celebrating, because that's success, right? That's when you see that client smile. But I think that my favorite way to market myself has to be through social media. I have my clients that pretty much market me. But yeah, social media is by far the one tool that I'm using the most, day in and day out. I have done some flyers in the neighborhood, and it's worked. Some people call and they inquire, but I think social media is key to success. And, you know, we're using high definition videos in our brokerage. We have our videos, we have our pictures, we have our branding. I mean, what more can we ask for as agents? And it's all free.
So you know what, from an outside perspective, I love the fact that you do stay branded. I think that definitely helps the consumer remember that you're in real estate. But I think it's the way you story tell. You know, anybody can have a license, but very few people can story tell. Look at the inspection. Look at my sign go up. Look at my, you know, property sold. Look at us at closing. And I think that, you know, really moves your audience. Your audience really knows that, hey, Cristina can make it happen. You know, she can, you know, guide us to success. And I think your storytelling ability, the way you curate your message, is very powerful. And I think you do a very good job. You're welcome. My next question is this. What makes you different from other realtors? What superpowers do you possess in real estate?
I think I have 2 main ones that make me shine a little bit more, right? So I want to say I have to give credit to my education background. Like that on its own has brought so much success, and it's made my career so much easier. I can't think of an agent not having this tool, because when you don't have this passion to educate someone, how can you be successful when your client doesn't understand the process? To me, if I don't understand something, I'm putting probably my life savings on the line for, I will not trust that person. So I think my education background has really been an impactful factor to my success, because from the very beginning that we start questioning that buyer that, you know, came in as a referral, I have maybe an hour conversation on the phone or through email, or a combination of text, email, and on the phone. And then, you know, I explain to them rates, I explain to them the loan process, I explain to them what happens at the beginning when you put in an offer, what could possibly happen, what are the outcomes of this. And that way they have an idea. They may not register everything at the very, very beginning, but then, you know what, as the transaction moves, I tell them again and again. And if I have to say it in 3, 4, 5 different ways, I'll say it again. I'll put it in an email. I'll write it in different ways. My education background allows me to sometimes over communicate, and I actually think that that's an advantage to this business. The second thing I have to say is that I think my clients, and I get this from most of my clients, they tell me, you know what, you don't even act like a realtor. You act like a friend. You care. You really truly care about us. Like, you care about us being happy. And if they're not happy, I'm not gonna be happy. I know I'm not gonna be successful if they're not happy. That's why my little slogan says, I don't stop until you smile. Because if they don't smile, I know I was not successful. So that's another key factor to my superpower. I think that just the fact that it just shows that I care truly, genuinely about what their needs are and what they need to get out of this transaction. Because, like I said, this is a financial transaction. This may mean all their life savings. Some of my clients save money for years to buy a property, and some others are just trying to sell. But it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Cristina, one of the most common top agent traits that I've seen in RESF, at least, is that they care. And I think to be a top agent, caring needs to be at the tip of your spear. And I think everything else comes with it. Fair to say?
Right. And this real estate sells on its own. The agent is the facilitator. The agent is going to make that happen. Because let's just face it, we live in South Florida. This is paradise. People want to buy. People want to buy here. Right? Right now we're lacking inventory. So yes, people want to move here. It's paradise. So it's going to sell on its own. However, how is that transaction going to get to the finish line? This agent needs to care, because we're human. Before anything else, we're human. And your client needs to understand the process. If the client doesn't understand what they're doing, they're not going to trust that agent.
You know what? I think you said it right. I think we're human. And you know what? Everybody thinks that a real estate transaction is easy, and some transactions are super easy, but we're human. Mistakes do happen. And you know what? I think a lot of realtors, I think our best superpower really is resourcefulness or preventing, situations. Sometimes the client not knowing what we do behind the scenes to make sure that it goes from A to Z, and that experience is a phenomenal one for the consumer is one that's really tough, and one that takes a lot of expertise in the background that sometimes people don't understand. So
anticipating a problem and avoiding that problem. And if it does occur, because things are sometimes inevitable, you can't help a lien on a property, right? So the lien switch comes back. But I'm just saying, when those things tend to occur, becoming the best problem solver is key. Because when you can solve problems, anything is possible.
Absolutely.
So I think that, we have to also be the best possible problem solvers out there. So
listen, I always say this: the best agents are not the ones that know it all. They're the most resourceful ones, the ones that can figure it out, get it done, and look good in front of their clients. Let me ask you another question. What would you tell your rookie self today?
Well, I'm remembering when I started this 5 years ago at Keller Williams, and I wanted to do everything on my own, right? And I thought I could, and I thought it was going to be easy. And I got my first property under contract. I think as soon as I signed up, I did what they taught me to do: reach out to your contacts. My contacts knew I was doing real estate. My past tenant reached out to me to buy a property, and I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to write a contract, but I had no idea how to write a contract because they don't teach you that in real estate school, right? So I had not learned at Keller Williams how to do it. So I reached out to my brother. My brother had been in the business for a long time. He did help me through the contract process, writing the contract. And then obviously the seller's attorney butchered my contract. That was great because that was the best learning experience that I could possibly had. And it taught me a lesson. It taught me a great lesson. Don't do this the first time around. Don't do it on your own. Have somebody mentor you. Have somebody somebody that's already experienced, that's successful, mentor you. Because whether it's your broker or another realtor, because that's how you're gonna really avoid problems. I didn't really have a problem with that transaction, but I was, very fortunate. But it could have gone sideways. It could have gone a different route. And I just think that would be my best advice for myself. Had I done that with somebody else, I would have probably been less stressed out. Let's just say.
Fair. I agree with you. My next question is, where do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
I want to see myself in the same place that I'm at right now, right? So I love what I do. I have a great passion for this. It shows. I want to be in the same happy place. However, I see myself growing. And
wait a second. This happy place is 5 buyers and 5 listings, right? Is that the happy place?
I have 5 buyers under 5
contracts.
I have 5 active buyers right now, and I have 2 listings. Okay, so I want to see myself. No, I'm saying for my own personal. I want to be happy, just like I am right now. I'm very happy with where I'm at. However, I do want to grow because we have goals. We have goals that we set for ourselves, aspirations. I want to grow because I see my business. Sometimes I don't even have enough time in the day to answer everything on my phone and my email. So I want to reach out to everyone. How do I do that? And I've already been thinking about this in the next year or so. I think we need to grow as a team. So I do work with another realtor at RESF. Her name is Alicia Proctor, and I want to give her credit because she's amazing. Yes, she is my little right hand. She helps me with everything when I'm like on the other side of town. Alicia, please. So she is awesome. However, I think we need another Alicia Proctor to come on board. And
impossible. There's only one.
Together, right? That's what I'm trying to put together. A business plan where this can happen in the next year. So that will cover the 10 years.
My next question is what do you value the most? And for me, I love to tell this in the morning. What gets you up in the morning? What gets you going? What moves you? And I love to tell people that my wife's diamond collection is what really moves me. What gets you out of bed?
Well, I have I've been an athlete my entire life, and to be an athlete and a competitive one, because at the very early age of 7, I was swimming competitively.
Oh, wow.
Waking up at 4 a.m. for about 5 o'clock practice for swimming. So that taught me to be disciplined. That taught me what I know now, what to do with my own life and my own career. So those values are in me already. And it's that discipline, that motivation that keeps me going, right? So why do I do it? I just love to see my clients happy, and that brings happiness in my life. If they can be happy, I'm going to be happy, right? So I also have another side to this. I do have a family. I don't have kids of my own, but I have 3 lovely nephews that I adore, and my mom and my brother, and that's my immediate family, and they're it. So they drive me to also be successful and get up in the morning at 5, 6, whenever I have to get up and answer emails. But I think that like I said, my background in athletics and that really, I cannot thank enough. My father was the one that put me in that swimming team at the age of 7. So that I can be a competitive athlete, and that taught me a lot in life, and it brought a lot of discipline and consistency, and that's exactly what I mimic in my business. I am the same way in my business, and if you had to ask any of my clients if they ever have to say anything about me, is how fast I answer my emails, how fast I answer my calls, how consistent I am, because those are the things that I already have as my values. My life values.
So no doubt. The other thing that I see is that you really do enjoy real estate. You really have a passion for it. It doesn't look like this is your job.
No, it's not.
You really enjoy what you do.
I love this. I don't consider this a job. I actually love to get in my car, drive to the other side of town, even if it takes me an hour. I enjoy what I do. This isn't work. And I'm compensated for it, but it's not work. I love to do this. This is my passion. Had I known that 15 years ago, I would have done this a long time ago. But I'm doing it now, and that's what counts.
Speaking about love, my final question: what do you love about RESF?
Oh my God, what do I love about RESF? The culture. The culture here is like one that I've never seen. It to me, this is like family, right? My second family. So I have to reach out to an agent. The agent, even if I don't know this agent, they reach out to me like if they knew me from like 20 years ago. If I have to reach out to my broker, there's my broker answering my calls or my texts. Denora, I call Denora. She answers your phone. There's a lot of support. It's a great support system. And I love the workplace because we all share what we have going on, and it's a great way to communicate. So I couldn't have asked for a better place to be. And I love working with all the agents here. They're just very professional. So I'm here to stay.
I love agents like you. I love your passion. You inspire, you motivate me as a broker. I jump out of bed with enthusiasm, and I see social media, and I see the way you guys move it, and it makes me very proud, and it makes me love what I do for a living. So
you taught me that. You tell me it's important.
So thank you for being part of the RESF DNA. You shape the culture, you shape the brand. And again, it's people like you that motivate us and inspire us, to do what we do. With that being said, I want to thank you for taking the time to share what you do and your passion. And I want to see you 2020, same award.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Bye.